Welcome back to Chow Time Pods. Your host, Ray. Yeah, video today from Basklye. I know I'm not sports savvy, but you guys really enjoy this particular content, so keep putting it for you guys.
Now, why did I do that? Well, I did it because I wanted to make sure that we saw whether or not there would be any residual effects from Breanna Stewart coming out holding a sign saying abolish.
Those are the words of someone who knew exactly what was coming. He waited specifically for Monday's ratings because he understood something most people didn't.
I don't even understand Unrivaled. Like, why would you create a league or a whole new whatever sport or whatever off the back of a failing sport? Like, the WNBA was a good model to see that people didn't really enjoy watching women play basketball for, what, 3 decades now almost? And then you make a whole new league to compete against that league, thinking you're going to make money? Even though that league has been losing massive amounts of money this whole time? Like, I'm not a sports person, but just logically as a business person, that shit doesn't make sense.
Breanna Stewart's Abolish ICE protest wasn't just controversial. It was about to become a case study in how to tank a struggling league's already disastrous viewership. And the numbers that came out, they're worse than anyone predicted.
Abolish ICE. Well, there was. But I think there was another indictment of this league as well. Number one, this is the worst I've ever seen their ratings. Monday's ratings, and we'll get there. We're going to do Friday, Saturday, and Monday. But it also shows you how few people outside of, if I'm just being real, some activist fans are watching this league.
That's the indictment right there. When your ratings hit an all-time low...
I mean, I always felt that's what people that watch the WNBA are, just kind of activist fans.
Barely anyone notices because you had so few viewers to lose in the first place. You're not dealing with a controversy problem. You're dealing with an existence problem.
That's why I said you created a whole new business model off of a failing business model.
Unrivaled just posted ratings so catastrophic that TNT executives are probably having emergency meetings right now about that $16 million contract they signed.
Jeez.
But to understand how we got here, we need to do it what the league was claiming just 7 days before this disaster.
Off. Now, in case you don't remember, this was just 7 days ago. All right, a 48% increase over 2025. $40 million in league revenue in its second season. And I was like,
Lies.
Interesting. And what made that interesting is, well, the media rights deal from TNT is $16.667 million of
a 48% revenue increase. Sounds impressive until you do the math. $40 million in total revenue for season 2, and $16.667 million of that comes from one source, the TNT media rights deal. That's a 6-year contract with a 3-year option, meaning TNT can walk away in 2027 if they want. And here's what makes that number revealing. The WNBA just signed a media rights deal worth over $200 million annually. Unrivaled is getting $16 million total. That's not a media rights deal. That's a charitable donation.
Pretty much.
The rest of that $40 million investor money. Not basketball revenue, not merchandise, not ticket sales.
Oh, geez. So 28 million is investor, and then 16 million is from the media deal? Yeah, you guys are cooked.
Investors writing checks, hoping this thing eventually works.
done.
Who are these investors? Tell me these investors. Let me meet these investors so I can get them to invest in something that might make money.
And this $40 million revenue is not basketball generated. This is investor generated. Well, at some point, investors want returns.
Hell yeah. They want money back plus some.
They want to see what was generated. So let's just jump into this.
I'm still tripping out on them creating a whole new league with a failing female sport. Like, really?
This is Friday, okay? Last Friday. This is prior to Breanna Stewart. Right here, the Phantom versus Vinyl, TNT, did 30,000 viewers in the 18 to 49 ad demographic. The
30,000 viewers? I get like 100,000 views a day. They're doing less than me? That's sad. That's sad. A multi-million-dollar sport industry that just came up is getting less views than this guy?
Piston Rose, 30,000 viewers in the ad demographic. That same game, I guess, was the Phantom Vinyl game, was simulcast on True TV, did another 20,000 viewers. Look at these
80,000
ranks
total.
far as actual total.
Let's break down what happened across those 3 days, because the progression tells the story. Friday, January 31st, before Breanna Stewart's protest. The Phantom versus Vinyl game on TNT pulled 30,000 viewers in the 18 to 49 demographic. The Mist versus
18 to 49. Okay, that's a pretty big demographic size.
Rose game, also 30,000. The Phantom Vinyl simulcast on True TV added another 20,000. Now, if you're not familiar with how cable ratings work, the total viewership is roughly 4 times the demo number. So we're looking at games pulling maybe 120,000 total.
Oh, yep, no, they're doing more than me. My bad. I'm an idiot. Okay, so it's doing 4 times what they usually rate. Okay.
Viewers on a good night. These games ranked 131st, 125th, and 229th in total cable rankings.
Jeez.
That's Friday. Saturday, February 1st. The Lunar Owls vs. Breeze game did 30,000 in the demo, ranking 143rd overall. The Laces vs. Vinyl pulled 20,000, ranked 100.
So there's 148 or 142 more things people would rather watch on TV than this.
67. We're talking about total viewership potentially dropping below 100,000 viewers. For some of these,
See, if it's below 100,000 viewers, now you're talking about my numbers. And I'm like, that's sad.
games. And this is before the controversy.
Let me take you back over the weekend. Right? Breanna Stewart explains her abolish ICE sign. She came out holding this sign right here, abolish ICE. I made a video on that, and I triggered some of the retards that were subscribed.
You never go full retard.
To this channel, and I waved at them as they went right off into the sunset. The next day I replaced every one of them with a follow-up video. All those subs came back. Not those people, but, you know, people with common sense came back. Blew right past them. So I got them back, plus some. And Breanna Stewart, of course, run her mouth with this, abolish ICE, which means having policies to uplift families and communities instead of fueling fear and violence, human lives.
This is the moment everything changed. Breanna Stewart walked out holding a sign that read, abolish ICE, during warm-ups. Her explanation, having policies to uplift families and communities instead of fueling fear and violence. Human lives are at stake. Within hours, the backlash started, not just from casual viewers, but from the core audience that was still watching. Because here's what made this particularly tone-deaf. This happened days after Laken Riley's murder trial concluded. Laken Riley, a 22-year-old nursing student at the University of Georgia, was killed by an illegal immigrant in February 20. The trial wrapped up in late January 2025, and the case had become a flashpoint in the immigration debate. Stewart said nothing about Laken Riley, nothing about the victim, just the political statement about abolishing the agency responsible for deportation.
Well,
It's funny. I don't really want to talk about it too much, but, you know, our own citizens are not getting the same help as a lot of these outsiders. That's all I care about is our own people more than outsiders. Can we think about that first? Our people and then outsiders? Just list the priorities that way. American citizens, American permanent residents, and then outside people, right? Just saying.
It got worse on Monday. This is Monday's ratings right here. The Lunar Owls versus the Hive had 50,000 viewers.
Jeez.
Wow, that's kind of a miracle, frankly.
That's actually pretty high.
That's kind of a miracle. But their total viewership still wasn't good. 130th in the total rank. This was on TNT, folks. And then you got down to the Laces versus the Breeze. This was on TNT, not on True TV. It registered an NA.
Dang! There wasn't even enough people watching that it didn't even give it a total.
Yes, a .02 or below.
Damn.
Or below. Total rank, NA.
Yeah.
Didn't even rank. Didn't even rank on the cable ratings, total viewers.
That's crazy.
Didn't show up.
And they invested, what, 20 something million dollars into this? Who are these people? You just got money to burn like that?
Monday, February 3rd. This is where it gets catastrophic. The Lunar Owls versus Laces game on TNT pulled 50,000 viewers in the demo. That sounds like an increase until you realize it's still only ranked 130th in total cable viewership. The total audience was probably around 200,000, which for a TNT primetime slot is essentially a rounding error. But the second game that night, the Laces versus Breeze, also on TNT, not True TV, posted an NA in the ratings. You know what NA means? It means the viewership was 0.02% or below. It didn't register. The game literally didn't show up in the cable rankings. Because so few people watched that Nielsen couldn't generate a meaningful number. Think about that. A professional basketball league with a $16 million media rights deal from Turner Sports aired a game on TNT that failed to register in the ratings. That's not a bad night. That's a
ridiculous.
Death spiral. This is the reality check nobody wants to hear. Unrivaled was supposed to be the backup plan. When WNBA players were negotiating the new CBA,
Now they're screwed. Tell the truth, they're screwed. This league is screwed, and because women think this league is gonna maybe help them with their salary and everything, the WNBA is screwed too.
and talking about opting out if they didn't get their revenue-sharing demands met. Unrivaled was positioned as the alternative, the league where they could make real money playing 3-on-3 basketball in the off-season, building their brand, staying sharp, and creating leverage against the WNBA. Except now that backup plan is posting ratings that wouldn't justify a YouTube live stream, let alone
It's true. They're getting less views than my dumbass, which is not much, by the way.
a television contract. The WNBA's new CBA negotiations are happening right now. Players rejected the league's initial proposal, which included increased salaries and benefits, but didn't meet their revenue-sharing percentage demands. The players want a higher cut of league revenue. But here's the problem.
revenue?
If your backup plan is collapsing in real time, you've got no leverage. You can't threaten to walk away from the WNBA when your alternative league can't draw 50,000 viewers on cable television. That's what makes this situation particularly dire. Unrivaled isn't just dealing with a Breanna Stewart controversy. The league has structural problems that were always going to surface. The protest just accelerated the timeline. First, the talent gap. Angel Reese and Sabrina Ionescu both played in Unrivaled's inaugural season last year. This year, they opted out. Reese is focusing on other business ventures. Ionescu chose to skip the season entirely. When your two biggest draws from year one decide not to come back, that tells you something about either the money, the experience, or both. The league added some star power with
Or the future projections of things.
Stewart and other names. But losing Reese and Ionescu created a perception problem before the season even started. Second, the curiosity factor is gone. Last year, Unrivaled was new.
True.
People tuned in to see what 3-on-3 professional women's basketball looked like with this format. This
And they were probably like, yeah, it doesn't look much better than the 5-on-5.
production value. This roster. The viewership wasn't spectacular, but it was respectable for a startup league. This year, the novelty is gone. If you watched last year and decided it wasn't for you, why would you come back? The league needed to grow its audience. Instead, it's hemorrhaging viewers week to week. Third, the financial model doesn't work. That $40 million in revenue sounds impressive until you break down the costs. Player salaries for 30 players across 6 teams. Facility rental in Miami. Production costs for every game. Marketing and promotion. League operations and staff. Travel and accommodation. The TNT money covers a chunk of it, but the rest is coming from investors. And investors don't fund losses forever.
Nope.
They fund growth. When your ratings are dropping 70%
unless you're WNBA investors, you seem to be okay with the losses for like 3 decades.
over year and your marquee games are failing to register in Nielsen ratings. That's not growth. That's a money fire. Fourth, the Warner Brothers Discovery situation. TNT's parent company is currently in sale discussions. When media companies change ownership, existing contracts get reevaluated. Unrivaled streams on HBO Max is part of the TNT deal. If Warner Brothers Discovery gets sold and the new ownership looks at what they're paying versus what they're getting in viewership,
Ooh.
that $16 million contract starts looking like dead weight. The 3-year option TNT has to extend the deal, and the odds of them exercising that option are dropping with every ratings report. Fifth, and this is the part nobody wants to talk about, the protest incident revealed how small the actual fan base is. When Breanna Stewart held up that abolish ICE sign, the backlash was immediate and intense, but the ratings only dropped by about 10 to 15,000 viewers in the demo. That's maybe 40 to 60,000 total viewers who stopped watching. In a normal sports league, a controversy like that would cost you hundreds of thousands of viewers. The fact
True.
that Unrivaled only lost tens of thousands tells you they didn't have hundreds of thousands to lose. The
Damn, he's not wrong about that.
league was already
Just
on life
logically,
support.
numbers.
The controversy just made it obvious. Now let's talk about what happens next. Because the timeline is brutal. March 2025. TNT can make a decision about whether to opt out of the media rights deal early. They probably won't, because it's only $16 million and the optics of abandoning a women's sports league would be terrible.
True.
But they're absolutely going to
They'll probably just eat the 16 million and just be like, yeah, donations for women.
renegotiate if the ratings don't improve dramatically. Summer 2025. WNBA CBA negotiations conclude. If Unrivaled is still posting these kinds of numbers, players have zero leverage to demand higher revenue shares by threatening to leave for Unrivaled. The league won't exist as a viable alternative. January 2026. Unrivaled's 3rd season would theoretically begin. Except by that point, if the ratings trajectory continues, there might not be a 3rd season. Investors don't fund vanity projects indefinitely. And TNT isn't going to keep paying for programming that doesn't deliver viewers. The really tragic part is that Unrivaled had potential. The format is watchable, the production quality is solid, and 3-on-3 basketball with this talent level could work as a niche product. But the league needed to build slowly, manage expectations, and avoid unforced error. Instead, they took investor money, signed a media deal that created unrealistic pressure to deliver ratings, and then watched as their players created controversies that alienated the small audience they had. You can't build a sustainable sports league on activist fans alone. You need casual viewers. You need people who just want to watch basketball without the political statements.
True.
And you need those people to come back week after week.
I mean, it's like, again, I'm not a sports guy, but I watch sports because it's always on TV. You know, I go to the cafe and I hang out with the boys. I don't really watch basketball, but I watch the Lakers. I watch a lot of the Lakers because I'm from LA and my buddies are LA fans. So we love Rams, we love Dodgers, and we love Lakers and LA Kings.
Unrivaled is losing all of them. So where does this leave? With a league that's posting the worst ratings in its short history, burning through investor cash, watching its backup plan narrative collapse, and hoping TNT doesn't pull the plug in March. The players who position this as their alternative to the WNBA better hope those CBA negotiations go well, because their leverage just evaporated. And Breanna Stewart, who thought holding a political sign during warm-ups was a good idea, she just became the face of Unrivaled's collapse. Whether that's fair or not, the question isn't whether Unrivaled can recover from this. The question is whether anyone involved wants to keep funding the recovery attempt when the ratings suggest there's no audience left to recover. Because right now this league isn't just struggling. It's failing in real time on national television, and everyone can see it. What do you think happens to Unrivaled if these ratings continue? Does TNT walk away in March, or do they ride it out through? And should WNBA players be worried that their backup plan just became their cautionary tale? Drop your thoughts in the comments.
I think it's a cautionary tale for the women that are in the WNBA. I think Unrivaled is not going to last that long. And you guys leverage that Unrivaled league for negotiations. You screwed yourselves. You guys really did. Especially when the WNBA was offering everybody, what, 500x or 500 times the salary? 500% times the salary? Yeah. From 80,000 to 250,000 for the base. I'm not saying, yeah, they don't make millions like the NBA players, but that's a wonderful high-end wage. 250,000? Your top, what, 1%, almost 3%. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. I really appreciate that. And I'll catch you guys next time. Ciao.